Welcome back to Tech on Air, where we highlight the teams and strategies driving Tech Americas forward. Today, we're diving into our largest division, Field Service Dispatch. And trust me, it's not just about simply dispatching technicians. And for that, we have a very insightful conversation between two key members from our leadership team, Andy Cox, Director of Program Management, and Carlos Flores, Business Development Director.
Okay, so we're doing a podcast now. Unbelievable. Like 10 years into this whole Tech Americas thing, and now we're doing a podcast. Who would have thought?
I know, exactly.
Who would have thought?
We didn't envision it then, for sure.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know us, my name is Carlos Flores. I'm the Business Development Director for Tech Americas. And joining me today, we have a very special member of our team, Andy Cox, Director of Program Management for Field Service Dispatch. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
This is so weird because, we're so used to, having conversations every single day, and like we talk to each other for about pretty much everything, and now we're doing this in a completely different format, which is weird. But it's the reason why we're doing this is because we have, obviously, Tech Americas has grown so much from like almost 10 years ago. We've been in business for over 14 years, and there's been a lot of recent development, and we have exposed our company. We've put Tech Americas out there a lot, but it is very important for everybody to understand what happens behind the scenes, to understand our company better, and to meet the people, some of the people, the key people that make things happen every single day. So that's why we thought it was important to expose that and really give everybody a glimpse of what it is to work for Tech Americas and everything that happens behind the scenes. Wouldn't you agree?
I would totally agree. This job has transformed my life, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Yes. And I actually feel very aligned with that sentiment because, ever since we started working together, because, Andy and I, for those that don't know, I used to report to Andy when I started working for Tech Americas. And it was such a joint effort to get the field service department off the ground and really get things done, which it was a gargantuan effort, but it paid off for sure.
It did. From our humble beginnings as a call center with two project managers in the United States to, we grew that, developed the people here. The culture and the people are amazing in El Salvador, I will say. It was a challenge to do that together, across the continents.
Yes.
To transmit the vision over such a distance. But we were able to transform that call center into a project management office that has over 80 employees today.
It's crazy to think that, because when I think back about those days, at least here in El Salvador, it was just like a 5 or 10 people taking calls and checking in technicians and getting them scheduled and stuff like that, but no actual project management happening or taking place at all here. And then you had the initiative to come down here and say, why don't we just try this out? And I think these people here in El Salvador are, really got what it takes to do this very well, and it worked.
It did.
That experiment seemed to work. And now it's like over 80 project managers. That's insane.
Yes. And it was actually a call center that was not even able to take a check-in or check-out. They literally could just answer the phone because that's all they'd been trained to do. And then they would funnel it to the project managers in the United States who were already taxed as far as their bandwidth. And so, I did.
Because what they were doing was just the communications with the end customer, and
the technicians.
And the technicians as well?
Yes, but they would just be able to funnel that call to the appropriate resource in the United States,
right.
And not actually, add any value besides answering the phone. And after coming down here for our first Christmas party, which was an adventure and exciting, I got to meet the people and understand that there was a lot more talent there that hadn't been tapped. And so I targeted that. I came back pretty aggressively. I've been here now 42 times.
42.
I'm asking for
Good Lord.
citizenship, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah, you should be granted citizenship. That's for sure.
So I spent time here with the people, working side by side with them, and I've come to realize over the years that that's all it took. It's just appreciating their talent and who they were and developing them. And so yeah, we've turned them into a thriving project management office.
Awesome. Yeah, it's nice to look back and just see where we've come from, and everything that's behind us is it's amazing. But aside from talking about that, I think it's also very important to we would love to know a little bit more about you. About the because I know that you're exposed to so many things going on. Field service is such a monster in and of itself. There are so many moving pieces. Me having experience, being in that world, I know that there's so many moving pieces, and sometimes there is so much coordination going on. There is a lot of communication hurdles that sometimes you have to go through. And you can plan as much as you want, but then sometimes on the day of a dispatch, something happens and you have to be ready to recover at a moment's notice. So knowing that's such a crazy world, how do you handle that? What does that look like from a day-to-day standpoint for Andy Cox?
Well, what that looks like is being extremely flexible and resilient,
Yeah.
and not doing away with any expectations. Obviously, we're and being prepared. Which means that we understand the business that we're in and the challenges that we face, but we come prepared to deal with those eventualities, and don't make assumptions and assume that all of those things are going to happen. Then we're ready for them when they do, and tackle them with as much grace and dignity as we can.
Because this is something that when we talk to potential new customers and when we're onboarding new partnerships, something that's a recurring topic is how flexible we are and how much we adapt to the needs of our customers and how much we customize our field service solution to their needs. It's literally tailor-made to what their needs are. Can you speak to us a little bit about that that flexibility aspect and how do you make that happen?
Sure. And that's something that we pride ourselves on and that we sell ourselves on, is that we are so resilient and able to switch course midstream to adjust to the customer's expectations and requirements. And that comes from being a very open group, a very communicative group, and having people with different skill sets that come to the table and allow us to make the changes necessary to provide our customers with the best experience. And we don't have a lot of bureaucracy. Our office environment is, while we're very organized and hardworking, it's also very relaxed and comfortable. And I have made it a priority to make sure that I've spent time with each and every one of them, letting them know their value and what they bring to the table, always reminding them that they're empowered to make decisions and to bring fresh new ideas to the table, which is really what helps contribute to our success and ability to adapt.
Yeah. And you mentioned something that I think it's very prevalent in the industry today. There are, some of and we know for a fact that some of our competitors, that level of flexibility is sometimes not there, and it's like you said, a very bureaucratic process to go through a whole bunch of change orders and stuff, to make
Yes.
something happen. Because sometimes you ink a contract for a specific project, but some things change halfway through, and then sometimes you have a contract for a project for 150 locations, and then all of a sudden it's 250. Like, you have
Yes.
to adapt to that, and you have to scale up. And we have the ability and the capacity to do that at a moment's notice if needed. So that's kind of like the flexibility that you're talking about, right?
Yes, exactly. We can move resources around, reallocate them, and get people where we need to adjust to those changes. Now, as we grow, the more that we grow, the more we have to standardize our process and put in place different things that allow us to standardize and offer our, a standard product, a consistent product across the board, which decreases our, our ability to be as flexible and more bureaucratic, if you would, but we will always retain that flexibility and the ability to take care of our customers as they're needed.
Yeah.
That's a core principle of our department.
Yeah. And aside from additional to the flexibility aspect, something that I know for a fact is such a big emphasis on what happens on a daily basis from a field service standpoint is solid communication, not just with a customer or whoever the contact is from the customer, and sometimes even as far as the end customer and the technicians. So we put a lot of emphasis in making sure that everybody understands where we are, what's going on with the technician on site, sending updates, and getting everybody always up to date with what's going on during a dispatch. So I know that communication is a very big aspect of it. How do you make that happen?
Well, it's our paradigm is quite unique. I don't think people realize that we are managing a field technician force in the United States from here in El Salvador, primarily. So obviously, communication is key. We have technicians out in the field that are representing us to our customers as Tech Americas. They are the face of Tech Americas, and yet the people behind the scenes are here in El Salvador. So yes, we have to have very good communication channels with those technicians, as well as funneling that information to our customers as well.
Yeah, because and part of the stuff that I do, which is have conversations with so many different companies out there, potential new customers and contacts alike. That's one of the biggest pain points they share with me. Sometimes the communication is not where it needs to be, with some of the vendors that they work with, the field service providers they work with, communication sometimes can be hit or miss. And knowing that Tech Americas is able to provide a completely different experience on that front is fantastic. And then at the same time, similarly to lack of solid communication, there's consistency of quality, the technicians that go out there, because something that I think not a lot of people know is not just a matter of sending somebody out there and hoping for the best, sending a technician out there and hoping that they're going to be able to do what they're supposed to do. It's really your team behind the scenes that's making sure that the technician on site is adhering to what the expectations of a customer are. So can you tell us, how does that happen? Like, how do you ensure that there's quality? First of all, quality overall in the services that you provide, but at the same time, consistency across the board. That no matter where we dispatch a technician, regardless of a time zone or geographic location, you will always have someone doing quality work.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. I call that the warm body syndrome. Just sending somebody to the site and hoping that it works out. Yeah, no. The key to our success is that we have that our team thoroughly vets our field technicians. We start with having a solid understanding of what the customer requirements and needs are, which involves several different conversations, and oftentimes it just changes midstream because they will take on a new endeavor, have a new customer enter the fray, that changes the script. But it starts there with the communication with the customer, and then we have my team that reaches out and has direct lines of communication with all of our field technicians, and are able to distinguish what skill sets are required for the particular request or requirement, and be able to match those skill sets to those requests and send the right person to the site the first time.
Yeah, and you mentioned something that's key, I would say, because it's when it comes to getting or understanding the expectations of a customer, is such a joint effort between your team and mine, because we're the ones having those initial conversations first and understanding what the customer needs, and then really funneling that through your team and making sure that your team understands what the customer is expecting to see. So if there's the disconnection between that part of a process, then there's a risk, for you not being able to deliver to the expectations of a customer. But I think we have such a solid process in place that really avoids that from happening. Uh, so yeah, I think understanding
Yeah,
the
I
needs
would
of the
agree,
customer
and
is
I
important.
think that it all starts with with us, and the fact that we've worked so collaboratively in the past, and we understand the importance of that handoff, the
Right.
conveyance of information between our
That's the word I
departments.
was actually looking for. Thank you.
And your team is amazing at being able to work with ours and provide the handoff and the information that we need to then pick up the mantle and run the next leg of the race.
Yeah, that's a common joke that we're the ones that make all the promises. We promise the world and the universe and the moon and everything, and you have to make it happen. So yeah.
Yes, and then we have to dance that dance, and it's
Yep.
quite exciting sometimes.
uh, so there's a so we've talked about the process and what happens with the project managers and who they are and where they are and everything that they handle. But when it comes to the actual person that does the work, the technician,
Mhm.
uh, for those of you that are watching, or if you're a technician and you're wondering, what kind of resource are we talking about? Can you help us understand the type of technicians that we typically use on a regular basis, and what kind of profile are we looking for? What kind of person do you typically reach out to get the job done, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and it's kind of a complex answer because there are so many different uh, aspects of IT out there, and the
Yeah.
different types of requests that we get from a cabling technician, which can wire up an office or whatever, to somebody who's more hardware centric and can be on site and actually install equipment and connectivity, which of
The
course.
typical smart hands
Yes,
type of
yes, which
technician.
is very prevalent because obviously the entire world is connected now. So
Right.
um, I'm happy about that because that's some job security. But yeah,
Yeah, we're
we
we're definitely in the right industry, that's for sure.
typically the type of technician that we work with and that works the best for us. It's not somebody that sits in an office, and not somebody that is mired into a particular location. These are guys, gals, people that are out there on the move, going from job to job, managing their own schedule, working for themselves, and can also be flexible like our business model. They're able to in the midst of their day, they've got something going on, can prioritize what they're doing, and can jump on something that's perhaps a little bit more urgent for us and change midstream and go and knock that out for us. But yeah, it's a particular type of person that does this kind of work, and of course, it's always a challenge to find them because they're always on the go,
Yeah.
and they're not necessarily posting their resume on LinkedIn, but
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know,
sometimes they're really hard to find, but then um and you mentioned something that's it just reminded me of something that's such a prevalent thing that happens. There are, because and then for those who don't know, really the footprint that we have access to is it includes directly employed, W-2 technicians that are directly employed by Tech Americas, and typically they would be based out of major metropolitan areas, which is where the vast majority of work takes place. But we, over 14 years, we have developed a network of subcontractors, that have a direct relationship with us, and uh, really to the customer, there's no distinction between one or the other. It's the same experience on site.
exactly.
uh, but then, regardless if it's a W-2 technician or a 1099 subcontractor, we have technicians, very particular technicians that have been a ride or die for a long time. Like, if there's an emergency dispatch in the middle of the night, they're there to help you, and they drop pretty much whatever it is that they're doing so that they get stuff done for us, and that's the kind of people that we love working with, and I know there's a lot of them out there that we know and love.
Yes, and I think our we've been successful because we go the extra mile. We take the time to actually develop relationships with our W-2
Exactly.
employees. And our subcontractors. And so the subcontractors, while they're not directly employed by us, there's a sense of loyalty and a sense of ownership in our relationship because we take the time to get to know them. We regularly reach out to them in their particular market and offer them jobs. And we've over the years we have nurtured and developed a quite a pool of very skilled technicians in all different verticals that are able to help us as if we had that entire force working for us directly.
Yeah. And that's something that, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the partner development
Yes,
department that
yes, we
takes care
have
of
a
that.
partner development team that we've recently expanded and grown in the hopes of expanding our network because obviously we have grown exponentially and had to
Oh
make
yeah.
adjustments and beef up our force out there. But yes, it's a team of that works directly for me and that actively looks for, pursues, and is out there trying to attract other subcontractors as well as W-2 employees to help us out in the field and to sell the Tech America's product.
So we've talked about so many different components to the field service stuff. You know, not just you as the one that's overseeing the operations overall. Then we're also talking about uh, senior program managers, senior project managers, and there's so many different layers to it. Um, because again, you know, the level of complexity that we're handling, and not only that, but the volume of work that we're doing on a daily basis. We're talking about hundreds of dispatches a day, if not thousands. So the level of coordination that requires really needs so many different layers of resources that you use on a regular basis. So we've talked about all those people, but also the partner development team taking care of the technicians and the communication, direct communication with technicians. We've talked about the communication with the customer, making sure they know exactly what's going on a regular basis with the dispatches that we're handling for them. Um, how do you see this? What's the next level? What comes next? You know, because obviously you have this entire, you know, machinery working like clockwork, but then how do you take that to the next level? You know, at some point, you know, you have to start thinking about that.
Yes, yes, definitely, and it's a daunting challenge to to figure that out. But again, having such a resilient team and empowering those people to bring something to the table, I always emphasize that that I empower each and every one of them to identify processes and procedures and make recommendations on how what adjustments that need to be made. So that way, one person is not tasked with that, not a small group, but everyone in my organization is empowered to do that. And they do. They regularly assess the processes and procedures that we have in place. And but with the understanding that just because those have worked to get us where we are today doesn't mean that they're going to work to get us where we need to be tomorrow. And so I encourage constant innovation, and I encourage every idea and thought out there to come to the table and let's take a look at it, and no matter how crazy. And that's kind of a hard one to sell because people tend to be shy and they don't want to
Yeah,
speak, but it's been some of those wild ideas that we have that have allowed us to, as a company, change midstream to adjust to the different environment and to the our growth, which has been exponential.
absolutely. Because you know, I can tell you something that I will make one promise to you right now in front of everybody.
Okay.
We're not stopping. We're talking to a lot of people. We're talking to a lot of companies out there, and that's definitely not stopping. We're bringing in new customers. We're bringing in new opportunities. But then it's you and your team making sure that we deliver on those promises, and I think you've done a fantastic job with that.
Thank you.
Uh, and for those of you that are watching or listening, if you're a technician out there and you want to know more about us, or you want to approach our partner development team to become part of our network, you will see information on the screen where you will be able to either scan a QR code and have access to a link that will take you to a form that you can fill out to provide us with your information. And then someone from our partner development team is going to reach out to you to help you learn more about what that process looks like. And then if you're a potential customer out there, a company, either an MSP or a service provider, or a company that just wants to have access to field service, field services in general, we're here to help. Just reach out to our business development team. Someone from our team is going to reach out to you. So just to schedule an appointment, and then we can have a conversation about how we can help moving forward.
But Carlos, I know we're focusing on field service today, but that doesn't mean that that's all that we offer, right?
What do you mean?
Well,
there's a lot more.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So because it's not, I think over, when you look back in the history of Tech Americas, a lot of the companies that know about us or have heard about us, they think of us as just technology, and that's all there is, and technology centric, field service. But there are other divisions and aspects of our company that really are able to provide other, we're able to help at different levels, not just the field service. In the field service world, staff augmentation is another one. We have a 100% fully fledged out, network operations center in NOC that's able to help you as well. So field service is just one part of it, and you will know more about those too, because we have a lot more content to share with you. But it's been a real pleasure to talk to you about this today.
Thank you. I
especially because this is something new. We've never done this before, but I think the conversation was very revealing, very revealing in terms of what happens behind the scenes, and I think that's something that's very important that everybody needs to know.
I agree.
Any final comments or message that you want to deliver to our audience?
No, just we're here to help. We're here to assist in all different areas, and just reach out to us, and we'll be happy to take care of you. And again, one of the biggest things that help us be successful is that we've not lost our humanity, that we value each and every member of the team, that we value each and every customer, and we treat them humanely and not like a number, not like an anonymous person. And I will strive to maintain that and keep that as long as I can.
So to really honor what it is, an actual partnership, because we treat it as actual partnerships, not just some random relationship.
That's right. Then that's why we call it partner development, because we're not just trying to hire a vendor. We're trying to nurture a relationship and build a partnership.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Andy, for taking the time to talk to us today. And I hope this is not the last time we get to do something like this, because I think it's been
I hope
been a lot
not.
of fun.
We don't get to spend as much time together as we used to, for sure.
Yes.
And who'd have thought?
Really, a podcast? What is this? What's going on here?
Exactly. And so I'll be happy.
And
what
I was thinking?
Again.
I was thinking. I can already picture. We're not going to name names, but some customers of ours from a long time ago watching these are like, all of a sudden Carlos and Andy are doing podcasts. Like, what is this? What's going on here?
They're taking over the world.
Yes. Well, thanks, Andy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So follow us for upcoming Tech on Air episodes with stories that show what really happens behind the scenes, and conversations that are revealing more of the behind the scenes in the Tech Americas world, the Tech Americas way. Thank you.